Get ready, Staten Island.
The Ferry Hawks are back at SIUH Community Park July 7th to the 12th for a 6-game series against the High Point Rockers. Tonight, first pitch is at 6:30. It's Thirsty Thursday with $5 Bud and Bud Light Drafts. Friday, July 10th, first pitch is at 7 p.m. May the Force be with you on Star Wars Night with post-game kids glow around the bases with special lightsaber training packs.
Visit ferryhawks.com now to lock in your seats.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
You know, a lot of us, I interviewed him for my podcast. I've talked to his team. When the first New York Times article came out, I said, this reads sort of funny. What else is there? Is there something else coming out? And everyone told me up and down, absolutely not. And I think all of us heard that same thing from him, from his team. Nothing else coming out. This is clearly a misunderstanding. There's nothing more coming out. We were sold an arc, right? A character arc of a person who had blacked out, but now no longer did that behavior. Now, I should have asked him when I interviewed him if he was drinking still. Because there's only one way you get those blackouts, and that's from drinking. And so the idea we were sold this character arc, this person who gets better, who got better, but he wasn't maybe better.
We were sold the character arc, and we bought it. We were sold the character arc. I should have asked him, are you still drinking? Are you drinking? Because it's the only way you get a character.
Welcome, my friends, to the Thursday edition of Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour, fastest hour in American media. That is one of the liberal apologists today, Molly Young Fast, on PMS Now. And she was sold a character arc. We have others. Hilarious Joy Reid cut. I think it's hilarious anyway. In fact, let's play Joy Reid right now. Cut 9, and just get this out of the way.
Progressives picked Flatner, so you need to replace him with somebody who is ideologically the same, because that is what was decided. The people of Maine, the Democratic voters of Maine said we want a progressive. They did not say they want an APAC moderate. So the Democratic Party in Maine ought to pick someone who is ideologically the same or ideologically similar as Flatner. If you don't, and the DNC shoves an APAC candidate down your throat, you have my permission and I'll vote for them. Because the Democratic Party needs to learn that it is not vote blue no matter who. It matters who. They sometimes need to lose in order to learn. Sometimes when you lose, you learn. And I'm just telling you right now, if they put a little APAC, send Israel all the bombs, give Saudi Arabia all the money, let the UAE run over us and give Trump another plane. If they put another APAC sellout moderate in place of Graham Platner, and they do not put somebody in who is his same ideology, you have my permission to stay your ass home. Then they will learn when Susan Collins gets 6 more years. At this point, we have to teach Democrats. We need to instruct them and teach them how to treat us. It's like being in a relationship. You got to teach people how to treat your ass.
You know, the good thing about it is 6 more years if she gets in, she might go the way of Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, my permission.
Glitching and freezing.
What an ego.
Glitching and freezing.
Just enough. What an ego. You have my permission to not vote, to stay your at home. Thank you, Joy Reid. Democrats are in full retreat. I heard a funny montage before the show, right before the show started. It is too long to play, of all of the Democrats supporting Graham Platner. He, of course, has decided he's gone. So, yeah, bye, Graham. And the apologies keep coming. We were sold a character arc. We did this. And then you have Representative Shalene Pingree. She's from Pingree. She is from Maine, and she's mad. Cut 2. She doesn't want advice from anybody.
Not even, there's no guarantee that I would get to vote on who gets to go to the convention and nominate. So it's a very open process, and anybody could participate.
Hear that, Joy?
And most people are sort of baffled by it because they've never bothered to pay any attention. And it's the people who've been working in the trenches for the years who have kept these Democratic parties in little states like ours going. And people should have some appreciation and respect for that.
Yeah, it's all up now to these anonymous people who are never praised, never thanked publicly, never focused on by the news media, who are going to have to salvage a Senate election in the most important Senate election season possibly of our lifetimes. And these people, Graham Plattner tonight was referring to as party apparatchiks. What was your reaction to him using that phrase?
Can I just be clear? That's not even a Maine word. Like, nobody even says that stuff. It's like...
Well, he did have someone fly up from New York to help him write this thing, and that is a New York word. That is the kind of language that you can get from here.
Well, my number one request is, could everybody just leave us alone in Maine? Could everybody just, high-paid consultants, all the people who want to make money off of us, who want to treat us like a petri dish, just stay away and stop writing all your dumbass columns on the internet and telling us what we should be doing. And don't call me anymore. I don't want to hear your ideas about, why we're not doing it well enough. And, that's just not how we do it here. And Devin made a really good point. We're independent. We don't like to be told what to do, and we're not stupid. We can figure this stuff out, and people in Maine have great integrity, incredible common sense. They're not ideologues. They want this to work. They want something to happen, and they hate what's going on in this country. People, they're so distressed when I talk to them every day in the grocery store. Everywhere I encounter people. I just came from an event tonight, and they just want to fix this stuff, and they want to take power back again, and they want to be in control, and they want us to have the power to fight back in Washington, to be able to investigate and subpoena and sue the damn president and just stop him from his reckless behavior and get those things that we've been promising people for a long time, like health care and child care and affordable housing. So Mainers are all in to fix this thing. And that's the one thing people have said to me. They may be, very sad and distressed that the Plattner campaign is not going to go on. But the second thing they say is, but I want to win, and what do we need to do?
Good. You have Joy Reese enough. We have Joy Reese. You have Joy Reese permission to sit at home if you don't like the way that you people in Maine decide that you want to fix things. We have more on the Plattner stuff. We also have some other things I would love to get to today, folks, including flock cameras, if we have a time. People are destroying what are flock cameras? Yeah, they're cameras that are placed in. Look, if you watch murder shows like I watch, you see police use them all the time to try to apprehend and figure out who drove where. They're on roadways all over the country as surveillance. These flock cameras, and people are destroying them down in Houston, and other people in Florida. There's a guy running for governor down. He's not going to win, but he's campaigning against the flock cameras. So maybe we'll have a chance to get to that. But first, there's some ugliness that's happened in New York. Now, one way or another, this is ugly, and it happened on a subway. Whether it's true or whether it's not true, either one is ugly. If it's true, it's horrendous. If it's not true, it's horrendous. Teen arrested for sex assault on mom with kids in New York City subway is a Yale student. That's headline. New York Daily News has the story. A teenager arrested for sexually assaulting a young mom riding the subway with her children in a random attack is a Yale University student, the Daily News has learned. Michigan native Ari Shteen, 18, is accused of creeping up on the 30-year-old woman, her 4 young children in tow, on a crowded subway car and forcing 2 fingers inside her Virginia at about 3 p.m. on June 28th. The young mom had nowhere to move during the disturbing assault, which was witnessed by all her children who are under 11 on the Uptown R train, approaching the West 28th Street stop, according to the Manhattan DA's office. He was released, this 18-year-old, without bail when he appeared for arraignment, charged with first-degree sexual assault. Now, this kid has a lawyer, Priya Chaudhry, who represented disgraced Hollywood actor Jonathan Majors in a domestic violence case against film producer Paul Haggis. I know it's getting detailed. Anyway, he says, every strap hanger has encountered unhinged people on the subway. When Ari visited our city, it was his turn. He didn't assault anyone. He was visiting bookstores with a friend when his life was turned upside down by a woman who falsely accused him of a vile crime. His reputation has been destroyed, she said. Before a single piece of evidence has made public, he's been labeled as a creep and convicted in the court of public opinion. The allegation is nonsense. On the woman's own version of events, she would have had to have been wearing a swimsuit for the alleged conduct to have been physically possible. Like I said, either way, this is horrendous. If he did sneak 2 fingers into her Virginia, who on a subway in front of her kids? Good grief. If he didn't, and he's being accused of it, and his reputation, the kids' pictures everywhere, man, it's pretty brutal. On a subway train, no less. Now, Carlos, I asked you to have something ready from the Ohio players. It's time for it. Thank you. We need that. This story comes to us from Fort Wayne, Indiana, my friends. What started as an investigation into a stabbing and arson took a disturbing turn in Fort Wayne after a man admitted he set his own genitals on fire. On May 6th, the Fort Wayne Fire Department investigated a fire at a detached garage. Around the same time, police were responding to a reported stabbing. The person stabbing victim said he needed to be truthful. Later on, that's when he revealed the true cause of the fire. The man who claimed he had been stabbed said he went to the garage and harmed himself by cutting off his penis with a kitchen knife. He didn't just cut it off either. He told investigators he poured gasoline on it and set it on fire on the floor of the garage just inside the door. And that's what lit the house up. Barbecued. Why? You're asking me why? Why would anyone cut their own? Do you know that we're almost to the day, the anniversary of when Lorena Bobbitt cut off her husband's... Carlos, you're too young to remember that. You don't even remember. The big story across the country. He was sleeping. His wife cut it off and threw it out on the front lawn. Police recovered it, rushed it to the hospital, and they sold it back on him.
And he went on to have an adult career.
And then, after all of that, he had a career in porn. I had forgotten that part. Thank you. But this guy, I don't think there's any rescuing because he barbecued it. He toasted it. A post-toasty. We'll be back, my friends. James Golden, Snerdley, fastest hour in American media, continues. Don't go away.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Anyone can sell electronics. At Electronics Expo, they do more than sell products. They design, install, and support complete technology solutions. From home theaters and whole home audio to lighting, shades, automation, networking, security cameras, and premium entertainment systems. For over 22 years, they've helped thousands of homeowners experience technology at its very best. See the difference for yourself. Visit their Wayne or Paramus stores in New Jersey or shop now at electronicsexpo.com. HomeDepot.com.
If data management is slowing down your business, you need the Intuit ERP. If one entity is here, and one here, and one here, and one here, you need the Intuit ERP. If scaling your business feels like starting over, you need the Intuit ERP. Intuit Enterprise Suite is the AI-native ERP solution that consolidates, migrates, and automates, all in one place. Learn more at intuit.com/ERP.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
James Golden, Snerdley with you here, fastest hour in American media. No, I don't know. I don't know. I don't put your hand up at me. I don't know what he seasoned it with. I don't know if he seasoned it. I don't know if he put barbecue sauce on it before he lit it up. And I don't know why he did it. And all I know, it must hurt. It must have hurt. And that's all I need to know. Good grief. Catherine Rampell is a columnist. I think she writes for the Washington Post. I see her column every now and again. It's one of the MSMs. She is on PMS Now, that bunch. She was upset. Cut one. We'll play as much of it as we can, maybe squeeze it in.
From the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank all of you.
Thank you.
And keep
for
fighting.
Everything. Keep fighting.
We're going to win someday.
Someday we'll win. Not with me.
That was Graham Plattner officially announcing that he is dropping off of the ballot for Maine Senate, for federal Senate from Maine, but taking zero responsibility for any of the scandals and more troubling things in his past that have destroyed that campaign, instead blaming, corporate media, the political establishment, lots of hate for the political establishment, saying that we banded together, we did it the way we were told we were supposed to make change and we won, and now they are not going to let us have it. So lots of finger pointing and blame and not taking any responsibility. Note that whoever he conceives of as the political establishment, you do have many of his once allies, including Bernie Sanders and Ro Khanna, also calling for him to drop out. People who believe...
Oh, that's the short list, baby.
Many of the same...
Of course, you expected him to take blame? When have Democrats ever taken blame for anything they've done to themselves or to America? We'll be back.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
James Golden, Snerdley, fastest hour in American media. Also want to mention, we don't have any other songs. One of the greatest background singers ever, Gwen Guthrie, had a heavenly birthday today. She passed in 1999. She also wrote "This Time I'll Be Sweeter." Those of you Angie Bofeld fans, you remember that was the lead single from her debut album, "This Time I'll Be Sweeter." Gwen Guthrie, who's sang background with so many people: Aretha, Billy Joel, Stevie, Peter Tosh, Madonna, so many others, and wrote other songs, Benny King, Roberta Flack. So just remembering Gwen Guthrie, too, one of the great background voices in many of the hit records that people enjoyed. We have so much on the Graham, but he's gone. And so I'm going to hold the rest of those sound bites. Hopefully we'll catch up with Princess Diana on Saturday, and maybe we can play some of them. We got Gretchen Carlson. Near a Tangerine is echoing what you heard from Catherine Rampell. They're all mad at Graham for the way he left, et cetera, et cetera. So we have that. But I want to move on to some other things. Cut 10. This is Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance. He was speaking in Wisconsin.
So what we've asked the governor to do is just give us the data so that we can check whether you've got illegal aliens on your food stamp rolls, and he's saying absolutely not. And I think the only plausible explanation for that is that he cares more about protecting illegal aliens than he does the good citizens of Wisconsin. It's a scam, and it has to stop.
So what has the cooperation been like for this effort to go into these states and root out this fraud?
Vice President's right, especially for programs like SNAP, where the federal government funds the programs, but the states administer the programs, and they just get block grants from the federal government. The federal government at this point doesn't have good insight into who actually receives this money. And so we've been asking the states, work with us here, show us where the money is going so that we can ensure that federal taxpayer dollars are not going to the worst people in the world. And a lot of the red states are cooperating, the blue states are not. And I don't know what else to infer from the fact that they're not cooperating other than trying to protect the fraudsters. And I don't know what to infer from that other than the Democrats are in on this. And I think it's a huge problem. You got to ask why Democrat governors would want to prevent us from finding the fraudsters. And I think it raises a lot of suspicions about the Democrats themselves.
It raises a lot of suspicions about the Democrats themselves. No kidding. My friends, no kidding, no kidding, no kidding. That was Andrew Ferguson. He's the White House vice chair of the anti-fraud task force. He was on Fox. It was where you heard that entire bite from. Now, look, to me there's a very simple question that I don't know why it is not being asked when these people appear on the media, whether it's the vice president, people on the task force. Why isn't Congress, the appropriators in Congress that appropriate the block grants, that appropriate the money, that write the laws, how simple is it? How simple would it be for Congress to put as a priority for dispensing of block grants? Here are the conditions that we're giving you money. We need a full accounting of where the money goes once we give it to you. We need an audit. We need you to turn over the rolls of the people that you distribute the money to. Otherwise, you don't get the money. It's simple. Congress has oversight of the money. It boggles the mind that up until now, they can't say if you want federal money, you have to do reporting on where the money gets spent. I don't understand. And I don't understand, they're not sharing it with us. They're not sharing it with, then don't give them the damn money. If they don't want to give you the deets, don't give them the cash. Simple. Now, let's see. I have another one with J.D. Vance and the H-1B visa program. There is a big kerfuffle happening in Washington State. Microsoft let go of about 1,600 employees. There is apparently fury because people in Microsoft, outside of Microsoft, are saying all they're doing is dumping these employees so that they could bring people in on these H-1B visas and have a cheaper workforce. Microsoft has said, not so fast. We got rid of some people with H-1B visas too. All we're trying to do is restructure Xbox. Is Xbox even a thing anymore? Yes, it's a thing. And they want to restructure it. But this is a big, big deal in Washington State, and we shall see how that goes. Now, the guy that's running for the Senate out in Michigan, Abdul El-Sayed, who claims he's a physician, even though by the definition of a physician, he's not. But it doesn't matter. He doesn't have a Nazi tattoo on his chest. So, well, that doesn't matter either, if he did have one. Anyway, Abdul El-Sayed cut 12, here you go, cut 12
Abdul, you have said you want to tax
from the
billionaires.
debate.
Absolutely. Is there a limit, though, to how much you can do that and actually grow the economy versus stilting enterprise and things like that? How do you draw that line?
Do we really think that excess money to billionaires makes jobs? Because if we really think that, then we've been trying it for a very long time, and I don't see that many more jobs. To me, I'd like to tax on the wealth so we invest in the things that actually unlock human capital, like healthcare and good schools and functional infrastructure. If we think that billionaires make jobs with their money, I think we are going to continue to find ourselves in an economy where it's hard to make that first 100,000 and way easier to make that next billion. And I don't want to live in that economy. I want our kids to go to good schools.
What does a fair share tax rate look like? What's the number?
I would like to see us tax billionaires at 7% of their wealth.
7%. We want to take 7% of your wealth before the state jumps in, before they pay all the other taxes. Now, a few things about this. If he's saying that billionaires don't create jobs, how do you think they become billionaires? Most of the time. I'm not talking about the trust fund babies, the ones that actually earn it. And that's most of them. Through work, through setting up companies that create jobs, through offering products to the marketplace that people like. I don't see that many jobs. Then you're not looking, or you don't know where to look, which is even scarier. The second idea that he has, well, we need the money so we can invest in things like childcare. We need the money so we can invest in infrastructure. We need the money. Folks, when are we going to stop being played by Democrats with this line? How much money do we already spend on education? There's a report that came out of New York City the other day. I have it here somewhere in the back with my old stacks, and I got to look for it. New York has over 900 failing schools. New York is one of the costliest education systems in the world. We already pay for it, but they don't deliver the quality education that's being paid for. You look at the money we spend in health care. Look at the trillions of dollars that are spent over the years in health care. Now, to take the fraud out of it, it's not as if the government isn't spending money in health care. Look at the money that has been spent on infrastructure. Walk outside your door. That's infrastructure. The roads. Under your roads are the sewers. Under the roads, unless you live in certain Democrat third world places. Infrastructure's all around. Now, is it in a state of disrepair in some places? Heck yeah. But if you remember, Joe Biden, President Biden, when he was vice president under Barack Hussein Obama, was in charge of over $750 million worth of infrastructure. Nobody can tell you where it was spent. Oh, one or two road projects here. Where'd the rest of the money go? Then when Biden came in office, they did it again. They had another massive, almost $1 trillion infrastructure program. Where'd the money go? We've been hearing in this song and dance from Democrats year after year after year. They act as if we're not paying for any of this stuff now, taxpayers. They act as if the billionaires aren't paying for it. Now, they are. They are billionaires and millionaires, and the top 1% of the economy pay the majority of taxes that are paid in the country. All the stuff has been paid for and is being paid for on a regular basis. Where are the goods? Now, we need billionaires to pay for everything, pretending that they don't, was on a friendly network, PMS Now. And this Simone girl, the one, the short-haired one, asked him about his own taxes. Listen to this answer. Cut 13. Abdul
really
El-Sayed. Go ahead.
Curiosity, because I watched it. I didn't watch it live, but I did watch it this morning. Is that Haley Stevens has been criticizing you for not releasing your personal finance disclosure until after the primary. The former strategist in me is like, why not just release it and take her talking point away?
We absolutely will, and we intend to. Sometimes finances are complicated, and I can only control what I can control. And unfortunately, when it comes to tax documents, sometimes they're really complicated to get. We are absolutely going to release it before the primary.
Do you hear this double talk from a guy that wants billionaires to do? How come you haven't released your financial documents? Oh, well, it's complicated. Sometimes the finances are complicated. And we can only control what we control. So, here is a guy who's demanding that billionaires cough up money. He won't cough up his financial disclosure because he claims that his own financial disclosures are out of his control. It's complicated. Well, sometimes the tax documents are complicated. Well, we'll wait till after the voters decide, then we'll release them, because it's too complicated to release them before we vote. But we'll figure out how to get the complications out after people voted. If I win, well, what the hell? Then maybe we'll release it. But we're not going to release it before, because it's complicated. While he's ragtagging on billionaires. That should provoke a red flag. I'm sorry. Now, we have other stuff. The president wants Supreme Court to do a do-over on birthright citizenship. Looking at the clock, we have a long piece about the Texas story where a hospital was advertising in Mexico for birth packages. Come have your baby in the United States. Oh, yes. We don't have time for that. We'll have to hold it till tomorrow. And I've got more on that. And we didn't get to the flock cameras. So I'm going to hold that too. Because we're going to talk about the flock. You know who's involved in this flock camera thing? Peter Thiel. Thiel? His software company's involved in some of it. These people complain about everything. Anyway, when we get back, clip of the day is coming up. This hour goes so fast, I'm telling you. James Golden, Snerdley with you. Fastest hour in American media continues. Don't go away.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The clip of the day. You want to hear it. It's the clip of the day.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's clip of the day comes to us from Facts Matter. It's a Facts Matter report on what is happening in New York. Of all of the stunning and chilling news that we have covered today, this one to me takes the cake.
For the past 125 years, the Catholic nuns over at Rosary Hill Home, located in Hawthorne, New York, they've been compassionately caring for the dying. These women are really the epitome of goodness. They've dedicated their whole lives to worship and to look after those who are less fortunate. And quite literally, thousands of people with incurable cancer have had better dying days because of the Dominican Sisters of Hawthorne. And so here's the question. How does the state of New York treat these amazing women? And the answer is the state has instead been threatening to either close down the hospice and or to lock up the nuns themselves and put them into prison. Why? Because they refuse to use preferred pronouns, to let men use the ladies' room, as well as to undergo training in gender ideology for all the employees. Basically, they refuse to follow the state's LGBTQ laws for care homes. And in response, the sisters have launched a legal battle in defense of their religious freedom in the face of basically a newly passed piece of ideological legislation. And now they have a powerful ally in the form of the Justice Department having just joined their case on their side.
It is incomprehensible to me that nuns, the Dominican Sisters of Hawthorne, actually have to go to court to stop New York State from trying to throw them into jail to close down a hospice where these sisters help people transition from life. You talk about the most scary thing that all of us face is our transition from this mortal shell into the immortal. These sisters give their lives, have been helping others, and because they won't go along with this utter madness that you have to recognize some 99 to 100, whatever it is now, different genders, and call people by Z, cis, this, that, the other, because they're trying to force them to force them into an ideology that is a political ideology. New York State is threatening these sisters with jail time or to close this hospice. It's unconscionable. This is Kathy Hochul. These are the Democrats. It is insanity. I'm glad the DOJ's in it. I think people need to be outraged by this. I don't care what religion, who you are. All you have to be is a good human being and realize how wrong this is. We're going to leave you today with Bob Dylan. 1962, Bob Dylan recorded this one at Columbia Recording Studios in New York. Blowing in the wind. That's the story of our lives. And the Dominican Sisters of Hawthorne are there to help us. People that need the help. God bless them. And my friends, love and gratitude for your being here with me, allowing me to be with you. God willing, we are back tomorrow for the Friday edition of Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. Until then, my friends, I bid you adieu. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. You can hear Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour weekdays at 4 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?